My favorite tropes. To be honest, before doing this video, I had actually no idea what the word meant, and what I thought it was actually was sort of right, but also was sort of wrong, because there's a lot of definitions for it depending on what you're talking about. I have my friend Kourtney to thank for this, so if you're watching this, Kourtney, thank you so much for this much needed research that I needed to do. This is Kat the Crow-Winged Author here at the Magic Library, and today I'm talking to you about tropes and which ones are my favorites. Alright, so before we get started and everything, we've got to go through the usual little tidbits. Seraphim Awakening is almost ready for publication. I'm going through a second read-through just to make sure that I've got everything all set, and after that all I've got to do is get it ready for copyright, get the cover art ready for it, and then after that I'll just be right as rain, and I'll be able to get it ready for pre-orders and everything. So because KDP actually now finally has pre-orders, yay! The Seraphim trilogy is the sequel trilogy to my debut novel, Arborea Lux, and it takes place in a more modern setting. But there are some things that you actually do need to know from Arborea Lux in order to understand what's going on in the Seraphim trilogy. So if you haven't read Arborea Lux yet, please go down to the description below, to the Amazon link, or to the my book link that I've got down there, and it'll take you to a page where there will be a link for Amazon and also a link for Barnes & Noble. I don't know why there's not a link for Books A Million on there, but c'est la vie. And also, I will let you know when pre-orders for Seraphim Awakening is coming up. I'm really looking forward to it because these are covers that I've done myself instead of going through getcovers.com to do it. And I'm sort of excited to see how well they're received and everything. I really want to make it, you know, pop and everything. So yeah. Anyway, the link for the Amazon listing and the Barnes & Noble listing for Arborea Lux is down in the description below, as well as the beta reader version for Seraphim Awakening is, I believe, just in the link space above that. So I hope you guys will go there, and I hope you guys will enjoy what I've written. And now, onto the video. Alright, so when Kourtney put in the comments of my previous video for me to talk about my favorite tropes and everything, I actually did not know what the word meant. I had heard it a lot in the author community and everything, but I didn't really understand what it was until I looked at some examples. Basically what a trope is that it is a storytelling device, and one of the most common examples of this sort of literary device that is used for storytelling is the chosen one or the arch enemy or stuff like that. And it's very interesting because I don't think I actually have a lot of favorite tropes and everything. Specifically because I don't see characters as tropes. I see them as people, and that's sort of an inclination of my mindset, because I'm an empath that tends to feel everything. And also unfortunately I get too attached to some characters. Kourtney, the one who requested this, knows that far too well. But yeah, really thinking about it and everything, I don't have a lot of favorite tropes, but if I were to look at some of the stories that I like, I can tell you the kind of story tropes that I like, and it's like the hero's journey, where a person goes from their life and how they were in the beginning, and they go on this journey where they not only are seeking to make a change in the world, they also make a change in themselves. I really resonate with that because, I don't know, I guess it's because I've always had like an adventurer's mind and everything, especially where like fantasy is concerned. But it was very interesting to really think about this topic, and I don't know why this is such a hard question for me to answer. I really don't. Some examples of the hero's journey and everything are like The Hobbit and The Lord of the Rings. Those are brilliant examples. The Inkheart trilogy is also another interesting little take on the hero's journey. It's not necessarily a hero's journey, but it's like it still has sort of like the fated battle between good and evil that happens no matter which book you're in, and all that. So there's that. And I will say this: some of the best like hero's journey type novels are actually are ones that are specifically standalone, and The Hobbit and The Lord of the Rings are a brilliant example of this, specifically because Tolkien had so much that he wanted to put into his story, and following along the story, whether you're following along Bilbo's journey or Frodo's journey, it's very important to see that a change is being made, not only in the world around them, but also in themselves. And in the movie Galadriel, one of my favorite characters in all of the Lord of the Rings trilogy and in The Hobbit says, even the smallest person can change the course of the future. And it's very important that even people in a modern time setting like this understand that, because it's sort of similar to like the butterfly effect, you know, like like on one side of the world, a butterfly flaps its wings, and on the other world, it experiences extreme weather. We're all cogs in a machine, in the machine and everything, and sometimes we've got that little voice in us that tells us to jump out of that routine. And journeys like The Hobbit and The Lord of the Rings are a jump out of that routine. There are extreme dangers in the world, and I guess I like it because it shows that no matter who you are, you can always go on a journey, and that's what I like about it. I like stories like that. Another thing on my list, when I looked through the examples of like literary tropes and everything, there are a lot of them came up as sort of romance tropes. For example, enemies to lovers, friends to lovers, strangers to lovers, stuff like that. Enemies to lovers, which was a very interesting twist and everything. So there's that. Where relationships come into play, where tropes are involved in everything, I have to admit that one of my favorites, and there's actually a TikTok about it too, because there's an audio that someone does, and the trope is that this person realizes they're in love with this other person, but instead of being like all like hard eyes and gushy around them, they're like, oh my god, no, why? Yeah, that it adds a little bit of humor, because it adds to your enjoyment, because you're like, just accept it at this point. I don't necessarily have a lot of tropes in romance, except for the unexpected hero that is the main character, and the misunderstood villain or beast. Sort of like a Beauty and the Beast thing, and that's just because it is my firm belief that no matter who you are, you do deserve love. And that's just me being a hopeless romantic at this point. But there's that. It's one of the things that I'm actually working towards in one of my other novels and everything, where it's sort of a retelling of Beauty and the Beast, and it's going to be interesting and everything. I don't have a name for it right now. I don't really have a name for it. I've not actually worked on it in a while, but it's based off of a prompt that I found. So I'm still trying to flesh it out. I'm still heavily working on the Astral Blood Chronicles to get the trilogy ready for publication, to finally get started on Morningstar and Anime Nexum, and I have got a full plate. Really thinking about it, I think I'm more familiar with all of these as sort of storytelling elements instead of tropes. And another one that comes to mind is actually very odd because I've not thought about it in a while, but having watched Practical Magic recently, I sort of like this trope because it's or this theme rather, and it's be careful what you wish for. And I think it's because it's sort of a hero's journey to grant this wish, but when this wish is finally granted, they finally understand that this was not what they had intended. It wasn't the outcome that they were wishing for. So it's sort of like the monkey's paw and everything. If you're familiar at all with the monkey's paw, the gist of it is that you get what you want and everything, but there's a serious consequence. You get something taken away from you at that same crossroads. There's a lot of funny little things that I like about sort of stories like that, and it's like, yeah, you're given this quest to go on this journey and everything, but at the same time, it's like, are you really sure that's what you want? And you're interested in seeing whether or not they learn that lesson for themselves, or they suffer the consequences. And it's very interesting and everything. There's two other examples that sort of have that be careful what you wish for be careful what you wish for bit. One of them is actually Hocus Pocus 2. I won't spoil the end of it, but if you've seen Hocus Pocus 2, then you know exactly the scene that I'm talking about. A character realizes that what they wanted most and everything, they end up giving up their most prized possession, and it's heartbreaking to the point where they ask for it to be taken away, and don't worry, it does and everything. It brings a lot of sympathy towards these characters. I won't say their names because, one, it would be sort of copyright infringement, and two, it would be just, I just don't want to spoil it. So, because it is a very good movie and everything. It's it's a very good one too, and it's a very good tie-in for Hocus Pocus 1 and everything. So yeah, there's that. The second example that I was thinking of, oddly enough, is the Wizard of Oz. Glinda the Good Witch tells Dorothy to go on this journey and to find a way home. And when the journey is set in heaven and everything, it turns out she had the power to go home all along. All she had to do was click her heels 3 times and say, "There's no place like home." And it's just, those kinds of journeys are poignant because it sort of relays the message that you don't know what you have until you've lost it. And also, usually the power to do something you have all along, you don't need to necessarily take a journey for it, but it's the journey that's necessary to make you realize that you do have it inside yourself. All of these tropes and my interpretations of them are very, very philosophical. I did not realize that. And it's very interesting to talk about tropes, especially because I've never really thought about it before. Yeah, tropes are basically things that enhance the story, and sometimes those enhancements are necessary. There's lots of them that I'll talk that are sort of just out there. There's a lot of examples that I didn't really talk about. I still have a lot of research to do about tropes, and specifically ones that I like. But the thing about it is that all of the books that I've read and everything, it's been so long since I've read them, I don't know of any of the tropes in them anymore. So I'm gonna end up having to reread them. And with my schedule being the way it is, I don't get a lot of time to read anyway, because I am mostly writing. But I do have the books, the dark fantasy romance books that are beside my bed for me to do research, because I am wanting to get into the genre. But I'm getting off topic. Tropes. We're talking about tropes. I guess I'll have to do a little bit more research about tropes and everything, whether or not they're like storytelling elements, relationship dynamics, characters and stuff like that. It's a lot to think about, and sort of being put on the spot like this, Kourtney, I don't really have an answer, but I hope this sort of gives you guys a little bit more of an understanding about what a trope is, and also encourage you to do your own research and find your own interpretation of the definition and all that. And also let me know what kind of tropes you like and everything. Put them down in the comments. I'm interested to see what examples you guys give along with those favorites, just because I want to interact more with my community. And speaking of interaction, it's time for me to end the video so that I can actually answer anybody in the comments, and also answer any blazing questions that I've got in my Discord server and in my writing group. Speaking of which, if you guys are not part of the writing group or part of the Discord server, you can go down to the description below and click on the links to get the invites to those groups. Please come and join us. Come join us. Join our crazy little family that is slowly but surely growing. I would really enjoy it if you did. I like making new friends, and I sort of have the social curse of wherever I go, I never meet a stranger. And I sort of want to see if that sort of translates over into media like this. Thank you guys so much for watching the video and everything. If you liked the video, please like, comment, and subscribe, and also share it with friends that you think would enjoy my content. And please, please, please help me reach my goal of getting 100 subscribers before the end of the year. I'm right now at 58 subscribers at the time of this video, and I would love it if I was able to meet this goal. I know it's like a little baby step and everything, but I really want to, like, I want to get that goal so I can go to the next goal of getting 150, and then 100, and then 150, and then 200, and then 250, you know, slow little steps like that. So yeah. Don't forget that Arborea Lux is available on Amazon and Barnes & Noble and Books A Million and all other online book retail stores. The link for that is down in the description below. My book link will take you to a little page that will lead you to the Amazon link and lead you to the Barnes & Noble link. I'm not sure why there's not a link for Barnes & Noble or any other of the online book retailers, but it's weird as it is. So this is the first time I'm actually ever using a little link tree thing like that. So yeah. Also, Seraphim Awakening is almost out on for paperback and for ebook. I will give you guys more updates soon, and I'll also put updates on all of my social media. My social media being also down in the description. I've got an author Facebook page, I've got the Facebook group, I've got Twitter or x.com, I've got TikTok. I did have a little bit of trouble with TikTok last night when I was posting my first character trailer, specifically because they had taken it down because of community violations, and I sent them feedback saying, hey, guess what, I've done videos like this before, there's nothing wrong with it. And within about 30 minutes, they actually put the video back up and they said, "We're sorry for your inconvenience." And it's like, yeah, you do that. So there's that. And I've also got Instagram. I don't do a lot of stuff on Instagram. I need to, but hopefully more into the future, I'll be able to get things prepared and all that. I would really like to. I would really like to expand in social media. I'm not very active on social media because I don't really do a whole lot. I mean, like most of my days I spend either writing or I'm doing research or anything. I don't really like go out a whole lot and all that. And also all of my close friends are actually like, my closest friend is like literally 2 hours away in the westerly direction. So yeah. I don't have a lot of friends around to actually do anything with, sadly. So yeah. But anyway, that's enough of my blathering. Thank you so much for watching, and just have a very wonderful day. And whether you are a creative or you're more mechanically inclined, just follow your dream no matter what it is. One of my favorite things that I like to actually sign in my books is that a world lies beyond the covers of a book, and it's waiting for you to delve into the character's journey, to follow along with them, to slay or tame dragons, to beat or befriend villains, and it's basically my way of saying that it's time for you to seize the day, to really have a journey of your own. And that's sort of what I'm doing here. My entire thing is that I am a writer, I am a small business owner, I am a writer, and I am slowly but surely realizing my dream of becoming a full-time author. And I hope to fully realize that dream in the coming days, or not in the coming days, in the coming years. I'm not one to really wish instant success. It's more of a journey, and it's more of a learning process for me. So yeah. I keep getting off on topic. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I hope you guys have a very wonderful day. And remember that it's never too late to start a new chapter in your life, or to flip the page on the chapter that you're already in. Sometimes it just takes a little bit of a push, and I'm here to sort of give that little creative push and everything. So yeah. This is Kat the Crow-winged author here at the Magic Library, and I hope you guys have a very wonderful day. And also stay warm, because here in Alabama it is going to get freezing. Bye guys.